exile immediately. We want to get the pump up here as much as possible. Make disappear. Okay. Annoying, but that's actually not horrible. We still get the pump no matter what. So we can do some massive damage here. And we can do Opera Love Song number 2. So with that, we will pump up here. Even if our opponent tries to outwit us here. Massive damage. All the way to 1. Hello my fiery friends, the Infernoman here with the hottest in budget deck technology. And for today's deck tech, it is finally time for us to dive all in on Avatar in Magic the Gathering. That's right. So without further ado, join me today in the format that you've also voted on, which is the Pioneer format for our deck today, as we are about to unleash Firebending Fury. Longtime viewers of the channel know how we do it. We have to talk about the stats of the deck before we dive right in. So our Firebending Fury deck today in the Pioneer format is going to be, well, mono red. We're looking at an average mana curve of only 1.7, and we'll be rocking a very streamlined 12 creatures, 20 instants, 8 enchantments, and 20 lands. Firebending Fury, as the name implies, is utilizing some of the latest cards from Avatar. Perfect world, we would hopefully try to win by turn 3, and thankfully any one of our creatures is capable of doing it, but we do have at least one backup plan in case if the game does get dragged out beyond turn 4. So now that I have a basic idea of what we're trying to do, let's now go over the deck in depth. So any one of our creatures, as I mentioned, is capable of doing some massive damage. Monastery Swiftspear in the 1-drop slot here has haste and prowess. We've seen this card utilized many times. Anytime you cast a non-creature spell, it'll get a +1/+1 pump until end of turn. Slickshot Show Off also has haste as well, and anytime you cast a non-creature spell, this creature will get +2/+0 until end of turn. More aggressive than Monastery Swiftspear, but also not quite as resilient. However, the main star of the show, as I mentioned of course, is the one we really want to get pumped up as much as possible. This is Firebending Student. So let's talk about this card for just a moment. Firebending Student is a human monk. It has 1/2 with prowess, and it reads Firebending X, where X is this creature's power. For those that have forgotten, Firebending X just merely means that when this creature attacks, you add an X amount of red mana. However, the mana will only last until the end of combat. Neat! While the timing restriction for Firebending Student may seem a little small, as long as we can get as much pump into Firebending Student before we swing, we should have plenty of mana to work with here to hopefully pump up any one of our creatures and get to our victory out of nowhere. In order to get the max value at any one of our creatures that is swinging, we'll utilize one of the best pump spells we currently have in Arena, and that's going to be Monstrous Rage here, giving any one of our creatures a +2/+0 pump and a monster roll token, so in theory, the card will actually get a +3/+1 pump with trample attached to it. However, if we want to maximize all the value we can, we'll also take advantage of bulk up here. It can double a creature's power until end of turn. While the flashback cost may seem expensive at 6 mana, remember that again, if you can pump up Firebending Student, that actual flashback cost may actually be just enough to hopefully close out the game. If we want a little bit of extra flexibility, we'll also utilize here at instant speed Opera Love Song from Final Fantasy. You can either choose to then exile the top 2 cards of your library and then hopefully get another spell to go off, or if you just want to close out the game quick, 1 or 2 target creatures could each get +2/+0 until end of turn. As far as other general utility for the deck, we'll also utilize here Kumamo Faces Kakusan, a 3-for-1 where we can ping our opponent. It does trigger prowess because it is an enchantment, and the Saga will give our next creature on the next part an extra +1/+1 counter on it, and then once it flips, it actually becomes a creature on its own with haste, which is going to be great if we can use this again for more value. The other major card that's coming to us for this deck from Avatar is going to be the Legend of Roku. So let's talk about this card also for just a moment. The Legend of Roku here is a 4-mana red saga that reads, for the first part, exile the top 3 cards of your library, and until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. For part 2, you add 1 mana of any color, and then for part 3, you flip it into Avatar Roku himself, a colorless legendary creature avatar that's a 4/4, and he has Firebending 4. He has an expensive ability, but it is doable. With 8 mana, you can then create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying, and that creature also has Firebending 4. So this is going to be one of our backup options in case of our whole game plan falls apart, and we just need to have the game go out a little bit longer. Avatar Roku should definitely not be ignored. With Firebending 4, and assuming of course we cast him for 4 mana, that means we have just enough mana to actually start making a bunch of extra dragons if the game goes a little too long. As far as your mana base is concerned, again, we're going to be a mono red deck, and we are also on a budget, so let's keep this as simple as possible. Just straight up 16 mountains and some Ramanop Ruins. Remember that again, with the timing restriction of Firebending Student, if you have some extra mana left over, Ramanop Ruins actually isn't too expensive to use with Firebending Student's ability. Although I mostly recommend this deck for best of 1, if you want to take this into best of 3, here's what I'd recommend for you for your sideboard. We have Tormod's Crypt here, a free spell, and it also is Graveyard Hate for us, which is perfect for our deck because we want to trigger off prowess as much as possible. We'll utilize Lightning Axe here as our catch-all spot removal, although you can sometimes don't want to have to discard a card. With Firebending's ability here, sometimes you have extra mana left over, so you actually can't pay this for full price. We'll utilize here as our Wrath, Fire Magic here. Again, it works perfectly well with Firebending Student because then we can then up the cost here if we want to get max value and damage out of it. If we have moments where we actually don't want a certain card to get destroyed, we can use Untimely Malfunction to redirect a spell's target or ability to something else, get blockers out of the way, or at least just destroy an artifact that we don't want to deal with. And of course, one of the biggest banes of our existence is going to be life gain decks. So you can bring in Tibalt Rakish Instigator here to turn off life gain against any opponents. But otherwise, that is the whole game plan for you, everybody. So let's go ahead, let's take this, of course, into the Pioneer format. Let's play some matches here, and let's see how well this deck can do. But before we continue, if you do like any of the content that I do, please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you watch the content. You can support me monthly for a small amount on Patreon, where I have all of my extended bonus footage posted. We also have a Redbubble spot where you can buy merch like stickers and shirts, or for free, all you can just do also is just join our growing community on Discord. Your support helps keep this channel going. All links are in the details below. Okay, my fire friends, here we go. Can our Firebending unleash fury against our opponents? Well, the good news is we have all 3 of our major players here, and we have a little bit of spell slinging, or I guess you can even say some card draw if we want to. This is nice. You can definitely curve out here perfectly. So we'll play the Mountain, Swift Spear. The tricky part is, depending on what our opponent throws, we could hold back the Slick Shot for a turn. And we could throw out Firebending Student as well. Alright. They have all the Storm Giants. Huh, okay, so mono whites. I guess this will be then our turn to get down the Student. Swing. Okay, so this is now going to be an interesting turn. We have 2 Opera Love Songs. We get the pump in with Firebending Student. That actually can help us go slinging very heavily here. On the other hand, we also have some Show Off. So we'll put that away for now.
That's a surprise tool that can help us later.
Firebend, not for any real value, but we can definitely, hopefully, do some damage here. Okay, so they do have a deserted beach. Okay, so is this going to be the turn we can completely go off here? We'll find out here now. Slick Shot Show Off.
This is where the fun begins.
Okay, so with that, we will exile immediately. We want to get the pump up here as much as possible. Make disappear. Okay. Annoying, but that's actually not horrible. We still get the pump no matter what. So we can do some massive damage here. And we can do Opera Love Song number 2. So with that, we will pump up here. Even if our opponent tries to outwit us here. Massive damage. All the way to 1. Nice. Our opponent needs a Wrath here to stop us. If they have a Wrath, we are dead. Oh, clock is ticking. Opponents, you have a full hand. You have to have something to stop us. If we get anything, a burn spell will be perfect. If we don't get that, a land would still also allow us to get to Roku. The only thing that stops us is life gain. If our opponent had life gain, they should have used it by now. You there, opponents? Hello? Have you lost the will to fight? I think they have. Okay, well, we'll keep the Monastery Swift here in our back pocket in case if anything else happens. Let's just get our final swing in here. Opponent, this is your last chance. Do you take the hit? Do you have an option to stop us? All right, we'll find out here now. They do not. They had no answer. They have lost the will to fight, and we take the victory there. An easy win for Mono Red Aggro. Firebending Fury did actually come through for us. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Oh, I love this card. It's actually a really fun card, by the way. Love it. Love it, love it. Okay, my fire friends, here we go. Can our Firebending Fury destroy our opponent by burning him down? Well, okay, this actually is a perfect hand for us. If we can just get at least one more pump spell, this actually would be amazing. We have the Kumamo in hand, we have Monstrous Rage, and we have 2 of our biggest payoffs, the Student and the Show Off. Let's keep this hand. As long as we can draw into something else here, we should be good to go. Alright, so we'll play the mountain into Kumamo. Alright, opponents. Show me what you got. Spire Bluff Canal. Okay. Well, let's see. Well, with Firebending Student thankfully getting the pump, that means it should put us out of shock range, at least for now. Hopefully that should be enough to at least keep it alive. Ooh, sleight of hand. Okay, so is it Phoenix deck? Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. So we transform. This won't be a massive swing, but it still can do some good damage here. Even if our opponent takes out Slick Shot Show Off, B's perfectly fine with what we have. We actually don't even need to pump monsters with Monster's Rage right now. The Firebending we get will be just enough. So Firebend for 2, so we got 2 red mana. Opponent's got nothing. So at the very least here, we can then start pumping up everything. So the safe bet will be on Firebending Student, because obviously with the 1 point of mana they have. Okay, as I figured, they have Fiery Impulse. Annoying, but a small price to pay. They still do massive damage here. They're down to 11. Opponent puts down the Otawara. Quarry Steel Cutter. Okay, no surprise there. They consider. That's cute, by the way. It's tempting to hit that with Reckless Rage right now, but we're going to save that for this turn, because we want to maximize damage. Okay, beautiful. Dang, we did not get another pump spell. If we only had one more pump spell, this would be amazing, but they were tapped out. We might as well just do it now. But at the very least, you can see it's easy to build up a ton of extra mana with Firebending Student. There you go, Firebending 4. It's a shame we didn't have a way to close out the game here and now, but that's okay. Okay, they got Artist Talent, that's fine. Nothing else? Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, come on, deck. You really couldn't give us anything else? It's fine. As long as our opponent doesn't have anything else with that single point down, I think we can still do it here. Maybe?
A few moments later.
Oh, we're so close to going off here. Okay. Dang it. Alright. Down to 3. I guess we can still put pressure on our opponent there. Oh, so close, but we just cannot get the last point of damage in. Come on, deck. Do not give me any more lands. I'm going to cry if we do. Opponents. Fiery Impulse. Okay. They got that down. They discard and draw. Fiery Impulse. Okay. I just need anything. Anything to stop our opponent here. And I do mean anything. Any kind of pump spell will be great. Come on, deck. Something. Not ideal, but okay, well, I guess technically this does work. They're down to 2, and this isn't lethal, so they have to block. They will lose the token. Okay, well, at least that's gone. Still not ideal, though. They're still within range, but we need anything. Come on, deck. Don't do this to me. We're so close. Our opponent's taking their time here, and I can tell they're counting. Yep, it's Treasure Cruise. Alright, so they get to refuel. Meanwhile, we struggle to at least get something going. As long as they don't have another... No, as long as they don't have removal, I think we should be okay. No removal? Please no removal. Okay. Alright, well, Slick Shot Show Off, I guess, kind of helps us. Okay. Is that it? Oh my goodness. Woo! We did it! But of course, that was the clunkiest way we could have ever actually gotten the win there. But hey, I'll take it. Okay, my fire friends, here we go. Can our Firebending cause a big enough fury to smash our way to victory? Well, not with this hand. We don't actually have a single creature in this hand, so this is a mulligan. Alright. Okay. Well, again, not super crazy, but hey, at least we got a Monastery Sorcerer. We do have some pump with Monstrous Rage, Ball Lightning, and Bulk Up, alright? What's also nice is we have Avatar Roku here, but we have to give up 1 card, though, in case we do not have a way to cast him. Okay, let's hope that our opponents... Okay. Hope it's not, okay, it's going to be discard shenanigans. Not ideal at all for our deck.
I'm in danger!
We'll throw away the Ball Lightning. Alright, we got a Mountain. So we will play that into monsters. Swift Spear. Swinging away, do 1 point of damage. But if our opponent is going to be bouncing stuff back and forth, that's going to be one of our worst matchups we can deal with. And to no surprise, going to be dealing with that. So we'll throw away the Ramanop Ruins. Taking more hits here. Okay, well, Kumamo faces Kakazan is not horrible. So, we'll do that. This will be now our way to get back in this fight. We'll just hit as hard as we can, as fast as we can. We push him to 12. Third land, so does it mean, is it a certain Planeswalker coming down? On curve? Oh, Nurturing Pixie, okay. So it looks like it is going to be a bounce deck. Annoying. Hopeless Nightmare again. So we lose our bulk up. Okay, well we got a Reckless Rage, that's not bad. So with that, Reckless Rage now. At least the Swifter can still get in damage, which is good. So at least one of the good things about this deck is despite you have opponents throwing you off with discard and mid-range, you can see that we still have ways of still forcing through damage and still providing a threat. However, if they have a specific enchantment, then we're going to have troubles. Okay, great. Trespasser. Okay. What do they eat? Do they eat the bulk up? Okay, they took the Monstrous Rage. Okay, another land. Okay, switch to show off. Well, do we force through damage with the show off? Okay, well, if they're going to make us discard, we might as well just play it. I mean, at the very least, we could force through some points of damage. Down to 8. Okay, well, 3 threats. As long as we can get at least 1 pump spell, we might be actually be able to close this out here now. Opponent. Braid's Nightmare, okay. So that means they will force us to lose enchantments. That means we have to lose Etching Kumamo. Okay, they scry 2, which is perfect for them. Come on, deck. We need 1 pump spell. Any pump spell can help us get through this. Anything. Ooh, beautiful. We have a Monstrous Rage. Okay, so let's see. Can we force our opponent to have a bad block? Obviously, if we're swinging, they know we have something in hand. Okay, well, this is it. Okay, so carefully, we got to make this work. Okay, so if we Monstrous Rage onto here, that'll give it, so it becomes a 3-2, 4-2, 5-2, 6. 6 points of damage, but that's not enough. Alright. I think we're just going to force it onto the Monastery Swiftspear. We will lose, unfortunately, the extra token. That's a small price to pay just to get some threats off the field. Okay, so what do we actually want to kill first? I think it might have to be the Graveyard Trespasser. Okay, down to 5. Not ideal, but we're at least at a point where if Braids has to make us sacrifice a creature, they also lose their Braids. Oh, jeez. Once again. Oh. Oh, no. Our biggest, most troublesome thing right now is losing... Alright. Close Nightmare. We take 2 points of damage. Okay. Well, this one might be sunk. Oh, jeez. Okay, we didn't get anything. We don't have anything in hand, and we have run out of gas completely.
Well, this stinks.
Yep, the Fatal Push also would have sealed our fate anyway, so... Well, that's unfortunate, but I mean, it happens. So, we just ran out of gas at the wrong time. We actually had the mulligan, so that already put us at a major disadvantage. But that's okay, everybody. I mean, that is mono red for you. You burn bright and hard and fast, but sometimes you fizzle out quick. And there you have it, everybody. So that was Firebending Fury for you for the Pioneer format. And you tell me in the comments below, what do you think? Would you play this deck in any way, shape, or form? Truth be told, and I have to be very biased, I know, I love the deck and what it's trying to do. Firebending is actually not to be underestimated. The ability may seem like it has a very narrow window, but with spell slinging, it's actually very, very effective and also very scary if your opponent is not prepared for it. Having said that, we do of course fall into the same trappings that mono red tends to fall into, which is if we do have an opponent that is very discard heavy, they have life gain, or they can blow up our singular targets, because we actually don't have that many creatures in the deck, our deck will fall apart. Please be aware of that if you do like this style of deck. But if you do like this deck, and maybe you want to take it to the next level, if you made it this far into my video, please leave a shout out below in the comments. You are my true fiery friends. And because of that, as a thank you, as always, we'll show you in just a moment how you can upgrade this deck with a couple of extra rares, a little bit of extra cash in your pocket to take this deck to the next level. Now, in terms of upgrading the deck to take it to the next level, here's what I would recommend for you. You actually can keep the main deck as is, and it's pretty streamlined overall. There can be an argument, however, that you could swap out copies of Legend of Roku here and put in a full set of Leyline of Resonance. This will give you a much more faster game plan, but the downside to this is, while it seems very appealing, you also now no longer have a major backup option in case of this sputters out. And on the off chance that you don't have this in your opening hand, then it gets a little awkward to cast this for full price. So your mileage varies. Pick and choose whichever route you want to go. I still would recommend, however, Legend of Roku, mostly because, again, it provides us a way to go longer into the game if it does get dragged out a bit. However, the realistic upgrades to the deck are going to be in the mana base for the main deck. So we'll just upgrade to Sokin's Crucible Defiance here. We'll have Den of the Bugbears. These help us, again, solve a problem where we can just put extra tokens out there and go a little wider to make sure we have a better shot at pushing through the remaining points of damage. We'll also throw in a single copy of Capital Embereth here. Its ability allows us to pump our creatures up by an extra +1 and +0 until end of turn. And what's nice about this is there's no timing restriction. So actually, this goes perfectly well with Firebending Student's ability. In terms of upgrading the sideboard here, we're again going to try to solve some of the issues that the budget version failed to resolve, but thankfully, now that you want to upgrade here, we'll then utilize copies of Roiling Vortex, so this will replace Tybalt here. It's much cheaper, and also you can then punish a lot of opponents that try to cast things for free by dealing 5 points of damage in the process. You can turn off the life gain from your opponent at any time, as long as you have a single point of red mana open, but again, there's no timing restriction, so take advantage of that with Firebending Student. As far as the other upgrades, we will just need to make sure we can make a little extra space, so we'll trim away copies of Tormod's Crypt here, and a single copy of Untimely Malfunction to make room for Firebender Ascension. So this enchantment is entering the battlefield and creates for a 2/2 red soldier creature token with Firebending 1. Anytime a creature we control attacks, causing a triggered ability of that creature to trigger, we can put a quest counter on the enchantment. As long as it has 4 or more, we can copy the ability. So this means our Firebending can go absolutely crazy as long as we have the quest counters to clear it. And then finally, although this one can be argued you don't need it, but I still like it for flavor purposes, and it's a sweet upgrade when you can make it work. Zhao the Moonslayer here. So this legendary human soldier, 2/2 with Menace, means that non-basic lands enter tapped. This is mostly best for, again, those matchups where you're going to be hosing your opponent that gets a little greedy with their mana base. And with that all out of the way, here are my final thoughts that I want to give you on this deck. If you're a fan of mono red aggro, if you're a fan of spell slinging for combat tricks, and if you're a fan of a deck that is capable of one-shotting an opponent at turn 3, then I would definitely say, give this deck a try, and I assure you, when you manage to make a ton of mana during your combat step with Firebending Student or Spell Sling to pump up your Slick Shot show-off, you're going to have a lot of fun doing so, and you'll be very surprised at how you can put it off in today's budget. And whether you one-shot with any one of your creatures out of nowhere, despite your opponent thinking they can be safe, I assure you, you will definitely not be disappointed. That's all I have for you today. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and just remember that no matter what you do play in the game of life, always be sure to burn bright. Later.